I'm Bob Clark. It's now time for our commercial real estate report with Walt Arnold from Sperry Van Ness. And Walt, if a tenant wants to renegotiate its lease terms during this tough market, what can they do? I mean, they have a lease, obviously. Are there any options for companies if the rent obligation becomes too great for them?
Good morning, Bob. Hope everything's going well this Monday morning. Every day in this challenging market, more and more tenants and landlords are trying to survive and make it through this tough business cycle. There has been a little bit of an uptick in tenant renegotiations for tenants currently in leases, and tenants are seeking ways to reduce costs, and landlords are trying to preserve cash flow and maintain their occupancy.
What can tenants do?
Well, there are some specific things. A rent reduction for a portion or all of the remaining term, either in the base rent or in the operating costs, or both. Rent deferral to a later date, either with a lump sum payment or increasing the rent amount in the future. So this is going to create relief now, and the landlord will recover those payments later down the road. If a tenant's behind, the landlord might agree to forgive some of the past due rent if the tenant agrees to stay current in the lease in the future. And another alternative on the past due rent amount is to convert that amount to a loan, and the rent will be paid and secured through the loan. But some of these events could cause some tax consequences, so consult your tax advisor prior to implementing any rent concession strategies.
Now, Walt, how does the landlord determine if renegotiating the rent is what really needs to be done? I mean, couldn't the tenant just say, hey, times are tough right now, and maybe they really aren't that bad for them? How do they know?
Well, that's a good question. The landlord should use due diligence when considering a tenant's request for rent relief. And the first step is to request certified financials, both the current year and the prior year. And as a general rule, a tenant in default should not be entitled to rent relief, but sometimes it's done. Just to make sure that an attorney writes any rent relief agreement. Rent relief should be done just for a short period of time. And the landlord sometimes can use this rent relief as a way to change or modify the lease to the landlord's favor in the lease, such as maybe limiting the exclusive use clause for a retail tenant.
All right, Walt, how can people reach you today?
Hey, well, thanks, Bob. Renegotiation of leases, it has a lot of moving parts. Give me a call at 256-1255 to discuss it in further detail. We help landlords and tenants to analyze their leasing decisions. Our website is waltarnold.com. At Sperry Van Ness, we help people make wise real estate decisions regarding their commercial real estate. Again, call me, Walt Arnold, at 256-1255 to discuss the Sperry Van Ness difference. Hey, Bob, thanks. Hope you have a great week.
All right, Walt Arnold, Sperry Van Ness on 770 KKOB.